Thanks for joining us today for This Week in Jacksonville Business Edition. And guest returning to our program here is Michael Corrigan from Visit Jacksonville. And Michael, thank you for last minute saying, yeah, I'll make myself available for this. I saw a story this week and I thought, oh, this has got to go in our podcast here. It's about the city of Jacksonville becoming a magnet for tourists. And then there were some details there, but tell everybody about your role in Visit Jacksonville as we get started.
Sure, Ken. I'm always happy to be able to talk tourism with you. So thanks for the opportunity to do this. Especially appreciate you doing it kind of remote to make it easier on me. I got a lot going on with this exciting news this week, so this makes it a little bit easier. So I really appreciate that. Visit Jacksonville yesterday announced that over 8 million tourists came to Jacksonville to visit last year, and it had a $7.4 billion impact. Now, when you talk about somebody like that, in my role as CEO here at Visit Jacksonville, it's incredibly proud of my team and of the whole hospitality community. I've been here about 6.5 years at Visit Jacksonville and had the opportunity to share this kind of great news with the community is very exciting for our organization.
So this economic impact and tracking report that was released, tell me about overnight visitors and maybe some of the breakdown. One of the things that was cool, and we can talk about this later too, but where visitors are coming from when they come to Jacksonville.
Yeah, so it's a little bit surprising when you see the research, and I guess I want to point out to everybody watching or listening, this isn't Visit Jacksonville's research. This is Downs and St. Germain, a well-known destination marketing organization, research firm based in Tallahassee that the Duval County Tax Collector's Office, Duval County Tourist Development Council funded the study and asked Visit Jacksonville to oversee it, and we did. And we were quite honestly surprised at the results that the places people are coming from isn't exactly what you would normally think. In the top 5, the Orlando Daytona area is number 1, New York City, the Tampa St. Pete area, the Miami Fort Lauderdale area. Those are the leading areas of people that are coming to Jacksonville. And you know, most people think, oh, visitors coming here, you're going to come from a long way away. The reality is Jacksonville is doing so good in Florida that Floridians are flocking to Jacksonville to see the great things that we have.
Yeah. Michael, what are some of the advantages to that when it's a shorter distance for the people who are coming to Northeast Florida to enjoy what the region has to offer?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest one is you can drive here. There's a lot of visitors that drive to Jacksonville, and that's that doesn't surprise us very much. And the advantage is you can literally on Thursday afternoon decide to you and your loved one or your family to go take a weekend trip, and you can hop in your car and come to Jacksonville. And we know that, and we embrace that, and the industry is loving that as well.
Tell me about these numbers. So 8 million visitors, and as you pointed out, $7.4 billion into the local economy. Is that more than we've seen in the past, or is that an increase over recent years?
Yeah, it's a huge increase. I mean, we were always kind of thinking a couple billion less when we were talking about it before we had the professionals come in and do that survey. We've always known we've had a huge economic impact in Jacksonville, and we've always kind of thought that we were one of the leading economic engines in town, and this research just verifies that that's the fact. And I guess one of the surprising part is that just about 57,000 employees work in the hospitality industry here in town. And I guess the important thing to point out to people is that tourism is what makes everything else work. Your favorite restaurant or your favorite local store that you go to, they wouldn't make it without visitors coming in and spending money in those stores. I mean, restaurants do great on, Friday, Saturday night, Thursday, Friday, Saturday night, but the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or the Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, those were visitors make up the difference because they keep those restaurants full. They keep those employees employed, and that's the key to making the whole system work. So, people are willing to take a little more chance to open up that restaurant if they know they're going to have a supply of visitors. Just look at how many restaurants are with proximity of a hospitality area, and you can see that equation is working.
Michael, and not to go negative, but boy, I think about the last almost 5 years since COVID happened, and I look at some of those places that people love to go, especially when we're talking to restaurants or whatever, places in the hospitality industry that didn't make it when we saw tourism do that during closures and stay indoors and all of that kind of stuff. And we know Florida had it better or dealt with it differently than many other states in the country, but there was still that impact on our region, wasn't there?
Yeah, it was a huge impact, and it really a double impact is what it ended up being. Obviously, the reduction of travel that happened initially during the pandemic was hard, and Florida did reopen before most other places in the country. United States opened before the rest of the world opened, so there was this benefit of a huge influx of international visitors coming here because Americans couldn't travel overseas, and overseas customers or visitors could come here. So you kind of had that combination of Americans stayed in America and other people came to America. But the problem was that when the whole work from home and worry about the interaction in person happened, the hospitality industry lost a lot of our employees. And when recovery happened, a lot of those employees went to other industries and didn't come back. So it was a struggle. It still is a little bit of a struggle to get enough employees to properly staff the places that serve visitors and really serve citizens in our community. And it's so important that we continue to build that hospitality industry. It's a great industry to work in. I mean, I've been in it for 6.5 years, and I'll tell you, the men and women that you meet in this industry are the best of the best.
Corrigan, the CEO of Visit Jacksonville, talking with us today on our program. And so when we look at that staffing issue, boy, it doesn't matter what time of year or what era you're in, it always seems like staffing is key to a business to be able to succeed. And yeah, during that pandemic time, boy, you saw businesses left and right, especially in the tourism or hospitality sector, that were just going, gosh, this is tough because I don't have enough people or the qualified people, experienced people. All of that really was a ding. Is that coming back? Are there more people who are coming back to hospitality?
Yeah, there is now. It's been it's kind of been an adjustment and now a recovery because the adjustment period were things that we kind of take for granted now that we didn't used to really think about. Think about going to your favorite restaurant. Often there's a QR code that you pull up the menu on, and you've already decided what you want before a waiter or waitress gets to your table because you've already started that process. Or if you stay at a limited service property and you used to have a breakfast buffet all the time, that buffet may be gone because they don't either have the staff to be there or the cost of doing that buffet might be too much. So there's adjustments that we've kind of almost forgotten about during this process of recovery. Now, 4 years later, we've kind of got the new normal, which has made it a little bit easier to staff the properties and the facilities that we need to do properly. But they're still wanting more employees. We continue to build new product here, whether it's a hotel or a restaurant or amusement. I mean, you just look at the expansion of the zoo, the Mosh building that's coming up, the Hilton Hotel at Mayo, the Four Seasons down by the stadium. Think of all these hospitality facilities that are being built that will have to be staffed properly in order for them to be successful. So there's a ton of opportunities in hospitality here locally.
Maybe talk to me about the element of demand, because proper or business owners aren't going to say, yeah, let me invest. Let me spend all the money to put up a hotel, to put up a new building, to invest in something that's going to be tourism driven, if they don't think that there's actually going to be the demand for it, that people are actually going to use those services and products.
Yeah, and the surprising part is that they're surviving and they're excelling. I mean, the overall occupancy of the properties in Jacksonville over in the last 24 year went down slightly, but the total income of those properties went up because there were more total rooms available for people to stay in. So the chance that people take when they open a property or open a restaurant, those are paying off. And it's not all rosy, don't get me wrong. Often we hear about our favorite restaurant that we hadn't been to in 10 or 15 years closing, and we're heartbroken that it closes. Well, it's because we hadn't been there for 10 or 15 years that had to close or had to change models or whatever it might be that they did. So it's critically important, especially Jacksonville is a great citizen base here, and it's important that we support those local companies to make sure that they can survive and prosper no matter what the environment, what the economy does.
Advertising or marketing that's going on in order to remind those people outside the area, yes, you should come enjoy Jacksonville and surrounding areas.
Yeah, that's probably where Visit Jacksonville plays the largest role. I mean, our responsibility as the official tourism authority for the city of Jacksonville is to make sure that we're properly marketing to destinations that can bring visitors to our community. And we partner with the Chamber of Commerce because you can't move your business here until you visit first. So we want to get those people to come visit Jacksonville, just like many people listening to this podcast fell in love with Jacksonville and never left. And that's the key to the whole thing. And obviously we focus a lot on places that are direct flight markets to Jacksonville. So if you can hop on a plane and come from your home to our home, that's a target market that we're going to go after. I think everybody knows we have one of the best airports in the country. So it's a pleasure to land here. Your rental car is 300 steps from your luggage. So it's super easy to do that. And we know those are strengths that we want to play into. And we partner with the airport constantly to help them get additional direct flight routes in order to be able to expand that experience. And we can expand our marketing to those cities or whatever. And it's been domestically primarily at this point. But we're now going to have direct flights back to Toronto. So we're going to start helping market that destination as that flight comes to realization. I think everybody knows the airport is building a new Terminal B, that construction is underway. That'll be 5 new gates. That's a whole lot more possibility of flights coming to Jacksonville. So there's so many positives that are happening here. I literally was walking on the Riverwalk yesterday and just looking around and saying, wow, there's so many things that we've talked about for decades that are now coming to fruition. And 2 years from now, they'll all be done. And we just look primarily at downtown. The difference is going to be, it's just amazing. And that's being replicated all over this community.
It was interesting what you mentioned about the expansion at JAX. Again, back to the idea of nobody's building a new hotel if there's not demand. There are going to be those 5 new gates. There are going to be new opportunities. And I don't think the Aviation Authority is doing that unless they think, yes, we'll be able to get airlines to come in and use what we have to offer.
Yeah, and it's a great partnership between Visit Jacksonville and the Airport Authority to make sure we're partnering together to realize those dreams and to bring to fruition the flights that we can do. The future of JAX and Jacksonville airfare is extremely bright. And the more we do that, the more people that are going to come here, the more businesses are going to move here, the better restaurants you're going to get, the better attractions you're going to have, and the more hotels you're going to get built. So it's all of it goes together to make improve the economy. Sure, we hit 7.4 billion economic impact last year. That's not enough. We want to go to 7.6 or 7.8 or $8 billion impact.
Let's make it 10 billion, but a big jump, yeah. Right?
Sure. And I guess, Ken, a lot of people don't know, when people come and stay at hotels, that's what's funding all of this work that we're doing. There's no direct tax on the citizens of Jacksonville. I mean, each citizen saves about $540 per year in taxes that are generated by people that come in and stay at hotels and pay that tourist development tax or bed tax in a hotel. So it's not costing Joe citizen here in Jacksonville that money. The visitors are helping support the load and helping that expansion. And 2/3 of that money that's generated goes to paying off this for the Stadium of the Future. So I mean, it's really benefiting not only the hospitality industry, not only Visit Jacksonville's budget, but it's supporting the largest project, the $1.4 billion Stadium of the Future project that's happening now. So it's a lot of positives that come out of people coming in and spending the night in Jacksonville. And oh, by the way, they're having a great time.
And with the research there, before we wrap up the research, what are the elements that are drawing the tourists in? What are the things people are doing when they spend time and money in Jacksonville and the area?
Well, it's interesting. The overwhelming majority of people that come to Jacksonville to visit are visiting friends and family. And while they're here, they're dining out in our restaurants, they're shopping in our stores. The number one attraction in Jacksonville is the St. John's Town Center area. That's where the most of the visitors come and go while they're here, which says they're going and enjoying the great stores and the great restaurants. Not just there, but that's the largest concentration, but they're doing it all over town. And then, oh, by the way, we have this little beach down at Jacksonville Atlantic and Neptune Beach, which is a huge attraction for visitors coming in town. And 21 miles of wide, sandy beaches is pretty attractive to people that don't ever get a chance to go to the beach.
Yeah. The very first time I was in Jacksonville, 2009, had no idea that the following year I would interview and then take a job in Jacksonville. But the very first time I came to Jacksonville and visited friends in Clay County, well, we got to go to the beach. Ended up in Jack's Beach, right by Joe's Crab Shack, and walking out there and didn't have a swimsuit, but roll up the pants. I got to get in that water. I mean, it is certainly something I experienced 15 plus years ago. And it
Well,
is one of those things that I think make people say, maybe I should come back or even move here.
yeah, that's and you're the exact kind of resident that Jacksonville has. I mean, you're very prototypical of residents we have. I obviously get an opportunity in my role to welcome a lot of groups to town, and often they say, if there's one thing I should do while I'm here, what is it? And my answer is always the same. You should touch the water. And when I say
Oh,
touch the water, that's go to the beach and touch the ocean,
yes.
or go to the
Yeah.
St. Johns River, walk across the blue Main Street Bridge and see the power, the majestic power of the St. Johns River. Go to a creek or tributary and touch the water, or even jump in a hotel pool and have a swim in a pool. But Jacksonville is water. We're surrounded by water. We got 1,500 miles of shoreline just in Jacksonville. The 21 miles of beach is included in that. So I mean, yeah, the water is something that we take for granted, and we should even as citizens of Jacksonville, we should make sure every citizen has a chance to go down and touch the water somehow, because it is what makes Jacksonville Jacksonville.
And I'll tell you, I'll remember what you just said the next time I'm going, wow, why is there so much traffic at the town center? Oh yeah, it's visitors. It's good for us. And I'll just take a breath and accept that it might take me a minute getting off JTB
Yeah,
or,
yeah,
295
yeah,
or
yeah.
whatever it is.
Here's my advice, Ken. Instead of saying move, 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 say welcome, 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 because they're the secret to you loving Jacksonville. I can tell you that right now.
Yeah, Michael Corrigan, Visit Jacksonville. Thanks so much for your time, and a pretty exciting topic, especially when we can look at those recent numbers and see the impact that tourism makes on Duval County and Jacksonville and our whole region. Thanks for your time today.
Thank you. Great to visit with you.
Yeah, thank you. And so, everybody, thanks for watching This Week in Jacksonville, our Business Edition podcast. Every time we're focusing on economic growth and development and issues that really make a difference. So, you'll be able to find more episodes every Thursday at 9 a.m. And wherever you find your podcasts, like, subscribe, or follow. Thanks for joining us.